because what you were saying
on the phone
is completely different than when the lights come on and when the cameras come on.
Good morning, Gov. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
What's going on? Good to see you. Glad you could join me on a great day.
Of course, man.
This
is a great day.
I was telling my guys here that I had to throw on the long sleeves because I can't compete with that. I'm a scrawnier guy. We like the word lanky, and I was like, you were coming out with the short sleeves. I was like, this is unfair. But it's clear why Trump is constantly upset with you. Is like
it's true.
He's been very vocally in opposition to you.
Yeah.
Publicly, which is funny because like behind the scenes he's like, look at this handsome guy. It looks like he's got to me he's got West Derangement syndrome is what it kind of is right now. And I thought it was so funny for you to offer up the golf cart. But like what went into that? Did you see like Trump's been slipping a little bit? Like the phone calls don't sound too good. Did you hear from like Governor Newsom about kind of their interactions? Like is there anything privately that led you to be like, this guy may need some assistance? Or was it kind of just like the trolling?
Well, no, honestly, what it was that the level of ignorance that was coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And one thing that people have to understand is that fundamentally to my core, what I am is I'm a soldier.
Yeah.
Like that's been my background, that's my training. And like, if you come after my people, I'm going to come at you twice as hard.
Yeah.
Like I was trained this way. And when we say, leave no one behind in Maryland, that is literally a philosophy where I'm like, if you get one of my folks, I will send a battalion in to go get them if I have to, right? We leave no one behind. And so when I'm hearing them making these like 1980s tropes,
yeah,
this like, this dog whistling about, oh, it's a hellscape and it's nice. I can't walk around the streets in the neighborhood.
You just can't walk around, period.
And I'm just like, you would say that because you've never been here.
Yeah.
You would say that because you've never walked around our neighborhoods. You can't claim to love the people if you can't claim to lead the people if you don't love the people, if you don't even know us.
Yeah.
And so that was my point to him. I was kind of like, listen, we're going to make it real easy on you. Why don't you come do what we do all the time, which is we're always in the neighborhoods. We're always in the communities. We're with the people, right? And so if you are saying, I won't walk through Baltimore, I'm like, well, will you ride?
Which he seems to need. And like, again, you put it so perfectly that he clearly has no understanding. These are not like policy decisions looking towards outcomes that he thinks will be better.
Right.
This is all political theater. And like what I've been saying lately is like, this is political theater with a guy who clearly doesn't know his lines because he's kind of losing it. What was your last, was it the one that Fox played and completely misinterpreted? Was that your last private interaction with him?
No, I've had other interactions with him. I've had other phone calls with him.
What's he been like on those calls? Because like Governor Newsom was talking about, he's ranting about crypto and like the new gold in the Oval Office. Like what was he talking about with you?
Well, ironically, it is saying things like, you're doing a fantastic job. You're doing good work. Keep up the good work. And then I will watch him on television. Tell me, he's a horrible governor.
Yeah.
He's a terrible governor. His streets are out of control. He has no idea what to do with crime. And I'm like, wow, this is real deep, because what you were saying
on the phone
is completely different than when the lights come on and when the cameras come on. And I think, and kind of going back to what we said about Dion, the thing I love about Dion is that he was who he was all the time.
Yeah.
And that's the point that we were trying to make. And so when he said how I called him the greatest president of my lifetime or whatever like that, and he's like, I don't even know how they got that footage. The answer is that was his documentary crew.
Yeah.
Who got the footage. So he should know how he got the footage. But I'm glad that the footage was able to come out because people saw like, yo, that's bullshit.
That was so funny. Like I try to tune into Will Kane's show sometimes because it's just comedy. He's like, Westmore said this about Trump, as we can see in the footage. So he didn't say that, but it's your interpretation whether he did or not.
Right.
I was like, what is wrong
make
with
the call.
this guy? It's so funny. I mean, but I'm like, I'm so glad that we finally have some Democrats. You're clearly leading the charge here, talking about an issue. And I feel like when we see that the polling, and it certainly, wasn't at the beginning of the administration, might not always be in our favor.
Yeah.
Like we shy away. But to me, it's like, we know that our policy solutions are better because one, we know that.
Yeah.
Two, you enact them and see that. And I want to talk about, the stats that we've seen over the past couple of years here in Maryland.
That's right.
But when we shy away from those issues, like one, we let them win. We let them dominate the conversation. Aside from crimes, like, is there anywhere else where you'd like to see Democrats start to kind of like take up the mantle on an issue that maybe right now the polling isn't in our favor, but if we just work on it and talk about how we've succeeded, it clearly will be?
Oh, 100%. Like, I mean, perfect example is if you look at being fiscally responsible.
Thank you.
Right? Where everyone says how the Republican Party, they're the fiscally responsible party. But here's the reality. Like, during the 8 years of my predecessor, who, by the way, is a Republican,
Yep.
right? That we saw spending in the state of Maryland increase by 70%. So we had out of control spending that was then taking place. Now, the thing that we saw was, despite the fact that we're watching all this spending going out of control, our growth, economic growth, was staying flat.
Yeah.
And so when we came on board, we're like, no, we have to be able to control spending. If you look at what has happened since I've been the governor, we've now had 3 straight years where I've actually decreased the size of the general fund. Mm-hmm. So I've actually decreased spending in the state of Maryland and produced better results. And so this idea that somehow we are, quote unquote, tax and spend Democrats, or we spend and we just blow the budget, I'm like, y'all, that actually would make sense if it was true.
Yeah.
But once again, look at the numbers where the Republican, Larry Hogan, before I came on board, his administration was spending out of control.
Yeah.
And had no results.
And it completely mirrors the current administration.
And it completely mirrors the current administration, where this is somehow a fiscally responsible administration, despite the fact that we're watching an administration that has now added trillions of dollars to the national debt. So It's like, guys, we've got to be honest. The Democrats are actually the fiscally responsible ones. We're the ones who are actually getting our budgets under control and producing better results on less. But I think we actually got to talk about it. And I think we need to actually be able to highlight that.
And certainly bring that message into the midterms. You know, I just saw a report, congressional delegation talking about redistricting.
Yeah.
Said, you know, obviously you said these options are on the table. What do you think the conversation around redistricting needs to be? Like, how are we framing this? What is your current mindset, seeing what's happening across the country? And, you know, I feel like right now we need to take up the mantle as Democrats as the anti-corruption party.
Yep.
And I don't know what's more corrupt or insidious than picking your voters.
Yes.
Like, how do we frame this fight? Like, aside from like what's happening right now, and I'd love for you to talk about that, but like, how do we frame this fight in your opinion?
So, you know, one is, and I tell our folks is that, you know, I do want to be clear, like, I don't like gerrymandering.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like this idea where we continue to, you know, basically have politicians who are then choosing voters instead of the other way around, right? So on surface, I in theory don't like it. And I actually wish Congress would do their job.
Yep.
Because if Congress would do their job, Congress would actually pass legislation banning it and saying we're not allowing any type of gerrymandering.
Yeah.
However, while in theory, I say I don't like gerrymandering, I don't live in the theoretical.
Yeah.
I live in the real world. And what the real world is saying is that Donald Trump is literally calling state legislators and saying, I need you to find me additional congressional seats. So this man is doing, because he knows he cannot win on his policies. If he goes into the what is his argument during the midterms? I made everything more expensive. I kicked you off of healthcare.
He's going to get really transphobic, probably.
Exactly. Like, what is your midterm argument?
Yeah.
That you're doing that's actually going to help you to keep the House or the Senate? And so what he's doing is he's basically saying, like, then I'll just change the rules.
Yeah.
And frankly, that actually jives with how he has led his entire life.
Yeah.
He just changes the rules. And so what we're saying is this, is that if we're going to tell, if the Republican held states are going to say, well, we don't believe that we have fair maps, we should take a time to reevaluate and think about our maps differently, then I'm like, then so should everyone else. So this is not about rigging it for one way or another, but this is about saying, y'all, fair is fair. If you want to have a conversation about fair maps, then let's all have a conversation about fair maps. And so let's put everything on the table, but let's not do it where we are picking and choosing which people have the chance to have a mid-decade, mid-cycle, with no new data conversation about representation. That if we're going to do this, then let's all have a conversation in our states. And that's why I say to Maryland, all options should be on the table.
And you got a lot to talk about when it comes to Maryland elections.
Oh, yeah.
Yourself, and I want to get into that. Aspirational vision.
Yeah.
This is the thing that Democrats need to be doing right now.
Yeah.
Opposition, obviously, we need it.
Yeah.
We're going up against an administration with a wannabe authoritarian. You can say an actual authoritarian. But at the same time, oppose doesn't give anyone anything to fight for.
No.
A lot of people are talking about 2028. You as well. You made it very clear you're focused on 2026.
Yeah, I'm not running.
Because you're excited about what's happening in Maryland.
Correct.
What gets you so amped? So like, what's the number one thing on your mind right now? Like, look at the progress we've made. Look at what we're building on.
Yeah.
Look at what's going to get people excited.
You know, I love the fact that we've come in with a thesis and we're moving on it.
Yeah.
And we're actually getting results. And the thing is, we're actually bringing everybody together to get it done. And so we came in and we're like, listen, we are going to make sure we're breaking the back of violent crime. Because when I came on board, Baltimore was averaging about a homicide a day the year before I became the governor. Maryland's non-fatal shooting rate had doubled in an 8-year period under Republican Larry Hogan. And so I was like, there's no way that I'm just going to sit there and attend funerals and give thoughts and prayers while we're watching bloodshed inside of our neighborhoods. And so we made historic investments in local law enforcement, historic investments in technology. We started working in collaboration with the mayor and with our county executives, and made Maryland one of the only states that actually helps to fund the U.S. attorney out of balance sheet. And now we've seen amongst the fastest drops in violent crime anywhere in America, that Baltimore, the last time the homicide rate was this low in Baltimore City, I literally wasn't born yet. So we're watching literally historic impacts from what we're seeing. From the economy, we were 43rd in the country in unemployment when I came on board. Now we're going on a year and a half of having amongst the lowest unemployment rates in the entire country. We created the first service year option for all of our high school graduates in the country. I signed the largest mass pardon for misdemeanor cannabis convictions in the history of the United States of America, when I pardoned over 175,000 misdemeanor cannabis convictions in the stroke of a pen. Like, we're being innovative and we're being really thoughtful and we're getting results. And so the reason I'm so excited about where we're at in Maryland and what we're trying to do for re-election is because I'm like, we have momentum that we have not had in a long time. And I'm not trying to stop it.
And you're also tapping into different constituencies. I want you to talk more about what you're doing with young men in the state, because I've loved that finally someone's starting to pay attention to these issues, bring light to it, and just like kind of reach out to people who kind of feel disaffected by the party.
You know, it's interesting because from our first days, I was said that this is something that's going to be a priority. And we literally, about a year and a half ago, did a full launch on our focus on young men, because and it's both because the data is wild. When
it's staggering.
It's staggering.
College graduation rates,
workforce placement rates, increasing suicide rates, right? So this is really dangerous statistics that we're dealing with. But the other thing that's important is, like, I know my own story, where like I had handcuffs on my wrist by the time I was 11 years old. You know what I mean? Like, I joined the Army when I was 17. I was sent to a military school when I was like 13, 14 years old because of some issues that I was getting into when I was young. And I was just angry. And I was fighting, and but people, instead of trying to hear me, they were trying to almost castigate me. And that's why I was like, we can't do that with our young men. And so we have entire platforms right now in our state that's focusing on getting more men inside the classroom as educators, getting more young men serving as mentors inside of our communities, really zeroing in and saying that by focusing on our young men, that's not saying we're avoiding our women, but it's saying that in order for our society to be better, we need to have young men as part of the conversation instead of just consistently being seen as deficiencies that have to be solved for.
No, I completely agree. I'm glad you're doing that work. And maybe like Democrats who haven't necessarily had the background that you have, like speak to maybe like some guys in the business community who maybe just like aren't as interested in hearing from a Democrat, think that they would want to regulate and restrict them. You're a guy who's had like a successful exit in your professional career. Like, you've done it all. Like, what's your message to other Democrats who want to reach out to guys and maybe can't exactly, like hit a beautiful post like you did, run like Prime out there. Like what is your message? Because to me, it's just like speak earnestly and honestly.
That's it, man.
Is that it?
Honestly, for me, and when people look at what we've done, like, we've been able to have historic numbers with young people. Absolutely. Like, when we looked at our last election, we won young people by just a margin that nobody was expecting. The reason that I became, frankly, the Democratic nominee and eventually the governor is because we were touching into a lot of disaffected voters, people who have never voted for, first-time voters, young people, young men. But it wasn't just because it's like, oh, well, this is an issue that he's going to spend time on, like it was a political strategy. It's who I am. That's my tribe. It's who I'm comfortable with, and I think people see that it's authentic. So when people see us out in the neighborhoods and out in the communities and smiling and dancing and having fun with folks, it's not because I've pulled it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm like,
we do a lot of that.
We did, but I'm like, that's my comfort zone.
And
I never want to be able to change that. And so the advice, frankly, that I give to people is, you have to be comfortable in your own skin. And I remember, classic example, it was a July 4th picnic, whatever, the Democratic Party was having.
What's your go-to dish? July 4th.
Oh, for July 4th? Oh, I'm a beast on a barbecue.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I'm a beast on a barbecue.
Are you like 48 hours in advance? Like,
oh, yeah.
What's
oh,
the,
yeah. You're smoking.
Okay.
But I tell you, the go-to with a lot of people, because I come from a Jamaican background, don't get me on some jerk wings on a grill.
Okay.
Jerk wings on a grill, I will.
That's the sweet spot?
I set records.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I set records.
I'm going to look for my invite.
Jerk wings on a grill.
I don't know where my invite's going to be. I know I'm in D.C., but I could...
You're close. Jerk wings.
I wouldn't turn them down. Sorry, but I interrupted your story. You were saying.
Oh, no, so the Democratic Party had this July 4th barbecue, and they had all the candidates who were running for governor were allowed to speak for a little bit of time, right? Like all 40 of us. It was ridiculous. We had statewide elected officials. We had Obama cabinet secretaries. I had the former head of the DNC, the former head of the party was running.
A little subtle flex by you.
You know what I'm saying? and then me.
I win.
And then me, the guy who never crossed in my life. And so I get up there, and they're all like in suits, and like for real, it was seriously like 95 degrees that day. Yeah. And they're all suits, and I came out in a polo and some shorts.
I don't know, I'm dressed like this because I already said that I can't do the guns. It's terrible. Sorry, keep interrupting. Go ahead.
So I'm standing on stage with all these guys in their suits, and I'm here in a polo. Yeah. And like people are like, who is this guy? Like he's not taking this seriously, and this and that, and this must be like some vanity run for him. So I get a call later on that night from the Speaker of the House in Maryland. Yeah. And she says to me, she said, "Have you heard the brouhaha about your attire today?" And I say, "Yes, ma'am, I have." And she said, "Can I give you one piece of advice?" I say, "Yes, ma'am." And she said, "Don't spend a second trying to be like them. Yeah. Make them try to be like you." Yeah. And she said, because if you do that, you actually might have a shot of actually winning this thing.
I don't know if you got a little bit of the dress shoes on. I feel like we have to get one, maybe at least one route in.
Oh, I'm good. I'll let you QB.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll let you QB.
All right. What do we think? We just want to hit a post?
Want to hit a post route?
Something a little easy, hitting that right side.
Sounds good to me.
I might hit you with the Rogers.
Oh!
I might have to. 319!
Rogers now or Rogers
Rogers
5
back
years ago?
then. Rogers back then.
Back in the day, Rogers.
With the green 19! Green 19 said, what? Oh, what do we do? Oh my gosh. Oh, we're hitting them. Oh, that's the thing of beauty. Oh, that's the thing of beauty! Oh, there it is.
That's what we do.
Wait, can I hit him with the real quick?
Good ball.
Sorry, I gotta get one. I gotta get one from you. I gotta get one from you. I'm sorry as well.
What you want to run?
Just say fucking give me a go.
Just go?
Just give me a go.
Done and done. Hey, hey.
Oh.
Ooh. Money.
This is what it's about. What a lovely day.
Gamers. That's what I'm talking about. I didn't start playing, and people think it's a crazy story, but like I didn't start playing until college. Yeah. And really, what happened was I was playing basketball, and the football coach.
What position do you play?
I was a point guard.
Okay.
In basketball, and the football coach then came up to me after when he saw me playing basketball, and he was like, "Have you ever played football before?" And I was like, "I haven't." And he was like, "Can you do me a favor?" He's like, "After practice tomorrow, do you mind coming out and maybe like running some routes or whatever like that?" I said, "Of course." So I go out there, and after practice, I ran the 40-yard dash. I did
what was that first 40 time? Do you remember?
I think I was like a 4.
It was like a 4-1, 4-1-3. Or...
Oh shit! I wish. If I was that, I tell you, I'd be in the league. I'd be in the league. I think I was a like a 4.5, 4.5 guy. Yeah. So, especially for a Division III school, fast. And so I did that. I did the vertical leap test, and I did, and then I ran a couple patterns. And then literally right after I ran my first couple patterns, he's like, "What do you think about coming to be a wide receiver?" And that was literally how my journey began.
So tell me about the 25 yards after the catch that I'm hearing, this record.
Yeah,
where are we getting all this yak from? Like, how were we breaking away? Like, what was I know you must have a great first step, but like, how were we breaking away?
Well, I tell you, one of the cool things about being a wide receiver is I think wide receiver is actually the easiest position to transition to, because as a point guard, you're bringing the ball up, but a lot of being a point guard is...
There's a lot of reading hips.
It's reading hips. It's moving off the ball, right? And then as a wide receiver, what you're doing is when you're on the line of scrimmage and your first moves coming off a cornerback, you're swimming, you're pushing them back and trying to get room. So it's a lot of the same footwork kind of stuff. And so what they kind of learned was, because I was pretty good first step and I was pretty good once I got in the open field, that a lot of the plays we ran were one of two. It was either, you know, coming up and getting yourself a little bit of distance, running around, getting yourself some distance on a slant, or it was if the cornerback was coming up on you, I was just trying to, like, if you come up here, if the cornerback's coming up on you, I'm just trying to find ways moving around and then trying to move out and get yourself.
We're gonna do more of this later, and I'm gonna just stuff you up. I just, so everyone knows, that was me giving him a free round.
That's right. That was the gift.
Let's be very clear. We're gonna stuff you up, okay, at the line. I was not gonna let that happen. Before we get into, like, there's a lot we got to talk about, but like when you were growing up, I know you said you obviously started in college, but like who was kind of your guy? Like who are you watching? Like, oh, I want to steal a little bit of that from him. I want to steal a little bit of this from you. Like who are you watching in the league? Or maybe just like at school,
you know, I would say
this is where I want to model my game.
You know, it's interesting. I mean, there are a few of the players who I just absolutely loved when I was coming up. Probably had as much to do with their personalities, as it was like, you know, as it was what they're doing on the football field. Like, for example, like I loved Deion Sanders. When I was coming up, I just loved his swagger. I loved how he was who he was everywhere he was. And I really respected that. Just like how unapologetically Deion that he was. And it didn't mean he was perfect, but what it meant was that he was a guy who was always going to show up as his, you know, as his very much authentic self. You know, it's interesting. I mean, I didn't really have, because I moved around a lot when I was young. Born in Maryland. Spent a lot of my childhood in New York. Spent a lot of my childhood in Pennsylvania. Came back to Maryland. And so I didn't have like a team that I rolled with. I would say until the Baltimore Ravens came back to Baltimore. Because remember, there's a really funky history with with Baltimore football because of the Colts. And so the Colts, in the middle of the night, literally in the middle of the night, and everyone in Baltimore knows the story, the Mayflower trucks picked up and left and went to Indianapolis. And not only did they go to Indianapolis, and I tell you, one of the things that really kind of pisses me off about it was, it's one thing to say, and this is what I always remind people, like, guys, when you're talking about professional sports, these are private companies. So no one owns them. And so that's why even when we're having conversations with the Baltimore Orioles, I had to remind people, guys, they are going to make the decision of a private company. We just have to make sure we're doing everything in our power to kind of lock them in. And so when they moved, and didn't just move to Indianapolis, then actually became the Indianapolis Colts, which was like completely offensive, because the Colts are not Indianapolis, the Colts are Baltimore. And it's the same reason why, even still to this day, you know, I explained to my son, they're not the Indianapolis Colts. The only Colts are in Baltimore. And they took it. They should have picked another name.
But that is always strange. It's like, you know, I'm a Lakers guy, and Bill Simmons is always talking about how, like, we don't actually have the titles, and it's like there's no lakes in LA, it's Minneapolis, and I'm just like, first of all, you will not speak ill of my organization nor LeBron James. I was like, I don't want to hear any of that. This was just like the most fun. I'm gonna have to get one more though.
All right,
I'm gonna have to get one more.
All right,
I'm gonna have to get one more. All right,
I am serious though. We need to have a governor's.
Caleb, do you want to D up? No, I'm just joking. Oh, do you want to?
Actually, hold on. Actually. And we can go slower.
Who's got the shoes for it? Because I was gonna say the shoes are tied, shoes are untied. I don't want to make you tie them.
I'm ready. Oh, I thought he was gonna do it with a camera. No, that's slick. I was like, oh, that's
He's
slick.
Gonna get the all 22.
I was gonna say,
he's gonna get the all 22.
Slick.
This is like Lamar in the playoffs over here.
Raven,
Sad hit. Oh, we're running to go. Oh, we're running. Oh, we burned him. We burned him. Go.
That's short. Let's go!
All right, let me get one right here. Oh, you're gonna knock me over. And now he's got to get back to his day job. I appreciate it so much.
I appreciate you, man. I'm proud of everything you're doing.
I really appreciate that. This was fantastic.
I'm serious.
That's Baltimore, baby.